Hello everybody on YouTube, thank you guys so much for joining me again. My name is Kobe, and welcome to Nimbus Gaming. Today I have a very special Warframe video lined up for you guys. Today we'll be going over Protea Prime, as you guys can see by the title and on screen. Today I'm going to be going ahead to show you guys my build, as well as give you guys just a breakdown of what Protea does and everything, because she is an amazing frame. And yeah, so let's get into it. So Protea is more so of a caster frame, a caster pseudo weapons platform frame. However, she leans more into using her actual abilities. So I'm just going to go ahead and give you guys a breakdown of exactly what her abilities do and exactly how they work. Awesome. Alright, so as we can see here, we have the abilities screen. When it comes on to Protea's passive, her passive is every fourth ability cast grants 100% ability strength, right? So essentially that just means that you get double the amount of strength for whatever you're going to be casting for that fourth ability, right? And in this case, in this particular build, I currently have Roar subsumed over her fourth ability, which is normally, is it Temporal Anchor? Yes, Temporal Anchor. I'll give you guys a demonstration of what that does just the same, but yeah. So for right now, her first ability is the Grenade Fans. What those do is you have two modes. One is the tap and the other one is hold. The hold cast for me, because you can switch these around in settings, the hold cast for me is the shields, which essentially you just throw out a bunch of grenades that attach to you and your companions and your teammates, and it gives them a overshield. It gives them overshields as well as boosts the rate of which your shield generates, right? Also, for the tap cast, we have the shrapnel grenades or the shrapnel vortex. What those do is essentially just throw out a bunch of grenades that do a boatload of slash damage. As you guys can see by this right here, it shows you the numbers that it does after being modded. So yeah, so essentially that's what it does. You have shields or a bunch of little slash grenades. And for her second ability, this is Blaze Artillery. There is an augment for this, however I'm not using it right now. So for this, essentially what happens is that this is the best, well, not the best, but one of the best abilities that scales with levels, because what this does is essentially the amount of enemies it hits, it multiplies the amount of damage that it does, right? So for each hit, the damage increases or multiplies, right? Oh yeah, and also this is just pure heat damage. So pure heat damage, and you could have 3 of these out at any time. With the augment, you could only have, well, you could have 3, but you could have 1 attached to you. But yeah, right. And for her third ability, that's Dispensary. This is also her Subsume. So this is the ability you would get if you subsume Protea. This right here essentially just throws out a boatload of health orbs or super health orbs, because they do regenerate 100% of your health, opposed to the normal 25, I believe. So yeah, so you have health orbs, energy orbs, and universal ammo containers, which essentially just ammo for all your weapons. And yeah, as I said, I have Roar for her fourth. The reason being is that, seeing that she does both heat and slash damage, which are both damage over time, Roar helps to bolster the strength of those, seeing that it is considered faction damage, and faction damage does double dip when it comes on to damage over time, right? So yeah, so that is the abilities. Let me go ahead and give you guys a presentation of what they actually do, and then I'll go over the build. Alright, so let's get these guys spawned. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and spawn 20 Steel Path Corrupted Heavy Gunners, level 170. Awesome. And yeah, I am currently running Nautilus because she works great with a grouping ability or something that can group. Alright, so let's see here. So for the first ability, as I said, you have either the shield grenades, which attach to you and attach to your companion and your teammates that run into their area, right? And you also have the slash grenades. So you see, you toss them out and they do a bunch of slash damage. So range and duration is something that you really want to prioritize when it comes on to Protea, right? So that's the 1. And when it comes on to the 2, Blaze Artillery, go ahead and toss out these. And as you see, everyone's gone because it keeps ramping up for each hit. See, it's now 61. That says 61, right? So that's 61 times the amount of damage. Right, so let's get these guys respawned. And for her third ability, as I said, it's just a dispensary. So it just throws out a little container that it just plops these out. And please keep in mind that it'll stop plopping out these unless you pick them up. So say for instance, you're max on energy. If you don't need energy, it won't put out any more energy if you haven't picked up the ones that are already there, right? And as I said, for the fourth ability, it's Roar. However, what I typically do in mission is I'll typically throw out my grenades, right? Toss out a few of them just to get the passive up. And as you can see in the bottom right corner, it does show you that 100% ability strength. What I'll then do is cast Roar to get that extra boost, right? So it's now double the amount. So I'm now getting 96% damage on that Roar. That's the amount that I'm getting, right? So with that, that gives all of my abilities much more damage, right? The grenades doing a lot more, and something that you guys should know is that when it comes on to slash damage, it bypasses armor, so this is doing damage straight to these guys' health, right? And for the 2, and as I said, you guys could have 3 of these out at any time. Also, to give you guys a breakdown of what the fourth ability does, well, her normal fourth ability, Temporal Anchor, what it'll do is it'll put a placeholder wherever you were, and please keep in mind this also means whatever amount of energy you had, ammo that you had, and all that stuff. And once the timer runs out, you'll hear it ticking, and it will take you all the way back to that position that you then where you place the anchor, right? So that's all of the abilities. So let me go ahead and go over my build. So in regards to Archon shards, we have three duration Tau Forge Red shards on her. As I said, duration and range are very important on Protea, or at least on this Protea build, when you want to focus on the abilities, especially when it comes on to Blaze Artillery. Especially when you want to focus on Blaze Artillery, you'll want a lot of duration to keep them out as long as possible to ramp up the damage as much as possible. Yeah, so that's why I have 3 Tau Forge duration shards, right? And for the 2 yellow shards, I have 2 base shards, which essentially are just there for more casting speed, so I can get the abilities off quicker. So yeah. And to now go into the build itself, here we are. So in the aura slot, we have Glowing Power, which, as it says here, on status effects with weapons, squad increases personal ability strength by 25% for 6 seconds. I know this doesn't tie into her actual abilities, however, it does work great with most weapons, especially status focused weapons, so that's why that's there. We have Power Drift for extra strength, also including the resistant to knockdown. Doesn't really play a big part, if I'm being honest, but that 15% strength is lovely. For Arcanes, we have Molt Efficiency for extra duration once more, and Molt Augmented for more strength. And in regards to the actual build, we have Transient Fortitude and Umbral Intensify for that extra strength. We have Rolling Guard if we get into a pinch. Prime Flow for that extra energy. Prime Continuity for more duration, as I said. Stretch for a little bit of range, as I said. And Equilibrium because she produces so many health and energy orbs. Equilibrium really makes use of that. Alright, and in regards to this special mod right here, Archon Vitality, it is a must-have on Protea. Or at least it's a must-have if you're using her too, right? Because what this does, it gives you the 100% health as normal Vitality, and for every status effect that deals heat, or every heat status effect that you do, it'll apply twice the amount of damage, right? So it'll essentially just dish out twice the amount of damage. Each time you do heat damage or heat status effect on on an enemy, it'll just go ahead and put on a double amount, right? So for every single heat proc that you do or heat status effect that you have afflicted on an enemy, this mod allows you to do twice the amount of damage, right? So that's why that's there, and that's perfect for her Blazer Artillery, because as I said, it does pure heat damage, right? Awesome. So in regards to Protea, that's pretty much the build, as I said. However, for weapons, this is more so just a casting frame, right? You can pretty much go through any mission pretty much just using her abilities. However, when it comes on to my build and the entire loadout, uh, currently for my companion I have the Nautilus, which is just there to group, because Protea really works out great with grouping, because as I said, the more enemies your 2 hits, the more it ramps up in damage. So grouping all the enemies in one place is extremely beneficial for you. And for the weapon on Nautilus, I just have the Volclock, just for the fact that I can use it with Tenacious Bond to get extra crit damage, right? And this is the build for my Nautilus. Nautilus Prime is coming out within this month, so that's why I haven't formatted it and added anything else to it. So yeah, so keep in mind, if you're going to go ahead and build a Nautilus or purchase a Nautilus from the market, you could always wait for Nautilus Prime to be released on the 21st of August, right? Because that's when Lotus Eaters is coming out. And as you see here, this is the main thing that I have here for. It's Cordon, right? It's in the second slot because I got annoyed of it at one point with a different build. But realistically, you should have this in the first slot, right? Because companions, they use their abilities from left to right, top to bottom. So it'll use Guardian first, then Cordon. Or in this case, if I don't have my seals broken, it'll just use Cordon, right? And this is a specific mod for that specific function. To have the grouping, you need Cordon. And for the Volclock build, it's nothing too crazy. I just had it there to have it there. You just want a bunch of crit chance on that. Alright, and when it comes on to the weapons that I have in hand, it's just the Torrid, Praetos, and Dual Toxicus. Dual Toxicus is just one of the most broken secondaries. Torrid is arguably the best gun in the game, especially if you have a Riven. The Praetos, it's there for the extra speed, well, sprint speed and parkour velocity. However, another weapon that works really great with Protea, if you're not using Nautilus, or if you don't have Nautilus, is the Proboscis Cernos, right? Mine, I don't have anything put into it. It's not a build that it's a weapon that I don't really care for. However, it works amazing with Protea, so if you want to invest into this weapon, you can, to have it there as insurance, I guess, or have it there to help you out if you need a weapon. However, you don't necessarily need one, as I said, when it comes down to this build. So let me just go ahead and give you guys a demonstration of what this does. Let's see here. Let's get these guys out. Right, and let's get that roar up. Boom. Alright, so with this, you will go ahead and shoot. Boom. Everyone gets grouped up. You guys come here. And that's Nautilus doing his thing. However, you could just go ahead and shoot that there. Boom. Everyone gets dragged to it. Throw out your tool. And watch them melt. It's that simple. Let me go ahead and give you guys another demonstration. Alright, so you want to go ahead and... This is one of the reasons why it's so tedious using Nautilus. Is this thing not shooting? Boom. Alright, and they're gone. They're just gone. It doesn't really take much. And when it comes on to her slash grenades as well, it's a very great means of CC, like crowd control, because each slash that's done to an enemy, it staggers them. staggers them a little bit. So they'll pretty much just be in a constant loop of being staggered. So most of these enemies wouldn't be able to do anything, even if I unpause the AI. Right? So see, they're pretty much just stuck in there. And in reality, the slash grenades is enough to kill these guys, just not fast enough. It'll just pretty much just trickle everyone down little by little. So you can really lock down an entire room, and a smart thing to do with these is to throw them at key points to lock down a room. Say for instance you're doing a mobile defense. Or you're doing a defense mission, you could just go ahead and throw a bunch of these slash grenades or these shrapnel grenades at a doorway, and they'll pretty much just have the doorways locked down. So yeah. So that's my Protea. Okay. So that right there is my Protea build. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys test this build out. And I hope if you guys do test it out, I hope you guys have fun. And yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me here again today. My name's Kobe, and thank you so much for watching me here on Nimbus Gaming. You guys have a wonderful day. Peace.